What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to Ben Wright Reactions. Today we're doing episode 7 from season 2 of the Ricky Gervais Show, entitled Nightclub. This is going to be some cool stories about the guys hanging out with celebrities and just having a good time. Let's see how crazy this gets. Here we go.
For the past few years, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant, and Karl Pilkington have been meeting regularly for a series of pointless conversations. This is one of them.
This could get crazy. Well, they all get crazy, but...
Hello and welcome to the Ricky Gervais Show. With me, Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant. Hello. And the little round-headed buffoon that is Karl Pilkington.
All right.
Karl, as you're aware, you've obviously got many celebrity fans, and you've also got a new fan, Warwick Davis, who is the short actor that many people will see in films like Return of the Jedi. He also is in Harry Potter.
Yeah.
He's 3'6", and Ricky and I worked with him recently.
Works awesome.
And far from asking us about the many celebrity names that we've worked with, the only person he was interested in talking about, of course, Mr. K. Pilkington.
He wanted to meet you, Karl.
Yeah. Well, is he all right to get on with?
Why wouldn't he be?
Just because sometimes when people aren't normal, it's just...
Sorry?
What?
No, I just mean when
This
someone...
is going to freak Karl out.
Like, I've met a few little people in my time. The one that I met a little fella once, and he was all right. He got drunk really quick. But he was all right, but it took me by surprise. Only because, like I've said about when I met Steve for the first time, it's only that same thing.
The opposite.
And then if I lived with the little fella, I'm sure we'd get on a storm.
What do you mean when you met
There's
Steve?
a TV show waiting to happen.
Yes.
Things wear off. That's like the world, isn't it? And it's the same with the little fella who you're talking about. First time I see him, I'd be a little bit like, oh, what do you say? Whereas once you get to know him, I'm sure he'd be a lovely little fella.
I don't know where to start, Steve.
Wow, Karl.
Warwick asks, really, what are your thoughts on short people, particularly in entertainment? Because, of course, they've, throughout the ages,
This isn't going to be
made
good.
an appearance, particularly in fiction. Tom Thumb, of course, the Oompa Loompas.
What do I think of them?
He's just wondering, I suppose, what your take is.
They're all right. I mean, when I was on jury duty, every day I'd sort of see one pop in, and he'd be sort of struggling getting on the chair. And
What?
he sort of, he wasn't struggling in a way that he felt uncomfortable. He'd obviously climbed a lot of chairs in his time, and this was just another one. And
This is horrible.
watching him, it just makes you think. You go, I should appreciate that I don't have that problem every time I have to sit down and what have you. But I don't think it's that bad. If I had to pick being really tall or really small, I'd go for the really small one because, the world's a more interesting place for him, isn't it? Everything's bigger. Do you know what I mean? We go
They're
to
in
New
shock.
York and go, wow, look at this. And they go, oh dear. Do you know what I mean? Everything's a lot bigger. Everything's more amazing. Food portions.
That's
everything's
one way
a
to
bonus.
think about it, I guess.
So out of the two, I'd be small, and maybe that's what I'd chat to Warwick about for a bit, just to get to know him.
Brilliant.
It's a shame in a way that he's not been able to pop in. I'd like to hear that conversation.
But I've
Yes.
got, speaking of like weird stuff and that, I've got a new.
Well, we weren't, but go on.
No, got a new book. Do you know I had that Freaks book, Top 50 Freaks? Got a new one sent to me.
Uh-oh.
Yeah,
50
and
more?
do you know like everything normally has a name? So like if it's the two-headed fella, they're all nicknames like that, aren't they?
They've got two nicknames, I imagine.
But this new book I've got, right, on the cover of this one, it's got like a woman with 3 breasts, right? And she's called the three-breasted woman.
From
as you'd
ball
expect.
rats.
The one face.
Why is she posing nude, though? That's what I want to know.
Tart.
Well, she looked happy. And there was a fella with like one face but 2 bodies.
Do one face but 2 bodies.
One face, 2 bodies.
What do you mean
So
one
it's weird.
face, 2 bodies?
Surely one head, 2 bodies.
Yeah.
Ed as well, but it was mainly the face. That was weird because he looked fed up. He sort of,
What are you talking about?
Yeah,
Talking
he's,
about, how can you have? What do you mean? How did it join to the neck?
no, it did have a head, but the fact is, it was weird that it had one face to me.
What do you mean?
Well,
if you've
of
got
course
one
he had-
head, you'll
yeah.
have one face.
Yeah, I know, but it was the fact that he had one face and 2 bodies that I didn't think.
But
one
why do
head-
you keep saying one face and 2 bodies?
So he had
Why
two
not
necks?
one head and 2 bodies? We're all the man with one face.
Yeah, but now I've got one body.
Yeah, well, surely he's the man with two bodies then. Again, the description.
Roll up, see the man with one face.
I'm confused.
Yeah.
So it's full of stuff like that, right? And what I'm saying is, that fella, you know, the one-faced man, the three-breasted woman...
He wouldn't be known as the one-faced man, is what I'm saying.
Well,
that isn't the peculiar thing about him.
Yeah, well, they all had names like that.
Right.
But there was one thing in it that didn't even have a nickname. It was so weird.
Okay, I gotta hear this.
What do you mean?
So weird.
It just said unidentified.
What does it look like?
Sort of testicles for eyes. That's. It just reminded me.
What do you mean,
strange.
testicles for eyes?
And what is it? Did he have a normal body?
I didn't even look at that.
Oh,
No, that's what I'm saying, though. You're attracted to the oddness of the thing. And that's what I was saying about Warren when he walks in.
Warwick.
You know, it'll be odd for a minute. And then, I'm sure...
For him it will be, yeah.
He'll get used to you.
I've got my head around it a bit more. And the way that there's loads of people in the world, and yet you don't see people with, like, dangly eyes more often. It amazes me.
I love the
Dangly
fact, but he's amazed by not seeing freaks.
Yeah.
It's incredible. He's walking down the street going, oh, everyone's got one head. That's weird.
Suzanne, see any dangly eyes today? No, me neither.
It's weird, isn't it? What's going on in the world?
Dangly eyes.
Went out the other night with the lads. You know, there's a few of us, you know, young, free and single.
Must look like the Swingers.
Oh, it was pretty. It looked like a boy band had gone out. It looked like,
really?
It looked like, you know, NSYNC had hit the streets.
Right.
Yeah. A friend of mine said, let's go to a club. Right, I haven't been to a nightclub for a long time, actually. I haven't been.
Is that because your glasses steam up when you walk in out of the cold?
That is a problem in the winter. I genuinely, it's not. It's very difficult to make a good impression when as you walk in, your glasses steam up straight away, and you know you got to take them off and clean them and stuff, and then you know you get a bit.
On your white fronts, you pull your white fronts up through the jeans, clean them on that,
or the back of a girl's dress. But we cruised down to the club. It's one of those big sort of London super clubs, and it's a bit of a queue. I think it's a bit of a chore. But we're queuing up, we're in good spirits, we're looking at it, it sounds pretty funky, we can hear the music coming out. You know, been in the queue for quite a while, 20, 25 minutes.
Forget it, 25 minutes.
Well, yeah, we were pretty excited at this point.
Especially
the
if it's
doorman
cold.
says, hello lads. I said, yeah, we're coming please. He went, no you're not. I went,
really?
What? He said, you're not coming in. And he just immediately lifted the little rope and sent us away from the queue, right? And we were slightly perplexed, we were dumbfounded, we didn't know what to do. It was like, this couldn't be happening, it didn't make sense.
Cool.
We just queued up what was going on. And so, my friend said, well, we've got to find out why he's not going to let us in. So he goes back over.
I thought you wanted to do. You wanted to tie him up with logic. That'll show a bouncer.
Exactly.
Yeah, show him how educated you are and how you can win an argument and make him look stupid. You'll be in that club in no time.
That's what they appreciate.
Good point, Ricky.
Because what they respect is being made to look like a fool.
Yeah, exactly.
So we went over and...
They really look up to intellectuals.
Exactly, yeah. So one of our mates goes over and he says, why didn't you let us in? And he went, because you didn't have any girls with you. No. No, I'll tell you
That
this.
is kind of how some of those places work.
That's kicking you when you're down. Because when you're out on a Saturday night trying to get into a club to meet women, and the reason you're not allowed to go in a club to meet women is because you haven't got any women with you, that's just salt in the wound. It's so humiliating.
Yeah.
So, a friend of mine says that there's a VIP entrance over there. There was like a woman with a clipboard, you know, the guest list. Separate entrance. She said, you know, you've got a little bit of profile, Steve. Why don't we try and use your...
You ran home, got your Golden Globe and you met me.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I always carry, you know, some of my cuttings with me.
Yeah.
And I felt a bit self-conscious about that. I was thinking, I'm not into this, you know, it's a bit awkward. But he said, look, don't worry, you just stand here. Just stand here, just like you're having a conversation. I'll go over, I'll point them out, I'll go, oh, there's Steve Merchant over there, at the office. Or whatever.
Oh, God, Steve!
So I thought, well, you know,
plan.
the thing is, we were out, and I was a bit frustrated, and I thought, you know, we may as well try everything. So I stand there, if my friend goes over and he has a word, and he comes back and he says, it's fine. She can't let us in the VIP entrance because she's not allowed, but what she can do is walk us to the front of the queue, right? You can walk to the front of the queue and explain. So I think, okay, fine.
Oh, God.
This isn't going to go
past
well.
everyone else, right, to the front of the queue, right? She goes up to the guy, she says, this is Steve Merchant office. The guy goes, I know he is, we're not letting him in. Oh, God! Oh,
wow,
God.
that's
By
worse.
now, of course, some people have recognised me, so they're trying to have my photo taken. So there's people inside the line that's being allowed in the club. I've got to lean across the rope to have my photo taken with them, even though I'm not allowed in the club. So they go, oh, all right, this is Steve, they're having the photos taken, right, camera phones and that. They're going into the club where the music, the party's kicking off. I'm outside waiting for the next chump who wants to have his photo taken.
Poor Steve.
I mean, it was mental.
That is messed up.
That's unbelievable. I was furious, and then one guy, I remember he was chatting, and he goes, "Oh yeah, brilliant! I love the podcast and all that stuff. I love. Is Karl with you?" I said, "Oh, Karl's not out here." And his girlfriend, she went, "Who's that?" And he went, "Oh, it's just Steve Merchant. He does the office. He does the thing." And she went, "Who cares? Who are you, Bruce Forsyth?" And it's that thing when suddenly I'm being humiliated and embarrassed by someone's girlfriend. I never asked for that. I never asked for her opinion on me. I'm sorry if I don't impress you, if I'm not sufficiently famous for you, but it's not my fault. It's your girlfriend who brought it up. It was like I'd gone over to her and tried to show off, and she was annoyed. So by now I was just furious. Oh, so God. I thought, forget this.
Well, I was walking down the street, and there's a group of builders sitting down having a cup of tea. One of them goes, "All right, Rick." I went, "All right, mate." The other one went, "Not as fat as on telly." I went, "Oh, thanks."
Yeah, thanks.
Not as fat as on telly. So he went with, "Well, you are fat, but you look even fatter on telly." He didn't say, "Oh God, you don't look fat at all," or "Oh, you look big on telly, but you don't look fat." Just went with, "Not as fat as on telly." And there's nothing I could say, but cheers, mate.
Now, when you said cheers, mate, did you say that because you were? Because I'd say cheers, mate, because I'd be a little bit scared of them.
No, I was
worried about
it's like sarcasm, and I laughed after. Yeah.
So you can get away with sarcasm with working class blokes.
I'm a little bit more secure with a working class man than you
could.
are.
I'm terrified of them. I feel like they're going to turn on me at any minute.
You don't feel confident sort of backing in a lorry driver?
Terrified.
Oh, right.
Because if I did, he'd probably lean out and just go and get your dad, mate.
Yeah, not you.
Fuck off, I'm not interested.
Not you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he's only gonna read it down.
That jingle there signifying, of course, once again, another reading from the Diary of Karl Pilkington. Now, of course, for those of you who have not been keeping abreast of Karl's medical complaints, just bring us up to speed, Karl. You had to go into hospital because previously you'd had...
I've been in and out, honestly. I've been in and out of that hospital.
Kidneys.
Just with kidney problems.
Still, that's...
really painful and what have you. And,
he had kidney stones, all right?
No, but seriously.
I had a bit of a lie-in today because I have to get up early for my operation tomorrow. Not only have I got to have tubes shoved up my knob, but I also have to get up at 5:50. Suzanne said I could have what I want for my last dinner. It's not your last dinner, you're going for an operation.
Yeah, but you can't take things for granted these
Maybe
days.
she was hoping.
I had shepherd's pie and peas. Suzanne made it from scratch. As nice as it was annoying. Because making stuff from scratch means loads of pots, and it's my job to do the washing up. So much as the food was nice, there was loads of pans and that. People who get their last dinner on death row don't have to wash up.
Damn,
Got up
Karl.
at 5:55. You were supposed to be getting up at 5:50 on the other page. You were 5 minutes late getting up.
He's often late.
Often late.
Messed his whole day up.
Got to the hospital and had to wait in the waiting room. There was another 9 people in there waiting to be sorted. I got called in. They sat me on a bed and took all my details down. 5 minutes later, I'd been knocked out. I got woke up when they were ripping a pipe out of my throat. I felt more rough this time. The doctor came to see me and said he couldn't find a stone, so I must have passed it. I said, "Are you sure?" He said, "Yeah, we filled your kidney with water and expanded it, and there was no hiding place." I sat in the recovery room for an hour while they found me a bed. One of the fellows who was sat in the room with me this morning got wheeled in. They couldn't wake him up. All the nurses were laughing because he didn't want to wake up. I bet they were laughing at me when I was in the theatre. Someone told me they totally strip you when they're operating. I would have looked like the alien on the Boswell incident.
Boswell!
Roswell!
It's quite a nice analogy if it weren't for the fact that you said Boswell. It's the Roswell incident. Didn't sleep much through the night because there was a 60-year-old fella shouting at the nurse about his pillows. I don't think I slept through a full hour with one thing or another going on. My bed was next to the toilet, so I kept hearing the flush.
How do they sleep in hospitals, though?
That's bad.
They wake you up to give you fucking sleeping pills and things, don't they? How do you sleep in there?
I don't know what it is. There's no air. There was an old fella across from me who kept breaking wind. He didn't even try and cover it. He was just of that age where he didn't care.
Letting them go.
That's what I do. I'm in the hospital, leave me alone.
What do you mean?
Just, I don't know what was wrong with him. I talked to him because at first I felt sorry for him. I was a little bit like, he's had no visitors. No one's calling him up, so I'll talk to him. But then he got that familiar with me that he'd just be doing it whilst I'm chatting to him. Just like he's my granddad or something. It's just like, oh, that's what he does. It's like, well, I'm ill as well. Stop doing that.
Fart. Bad
Honestly,
roommate.
unbelievable. He didn't even try and cover it with a cough. It was just like, that's
With a cough! How would you cover it with a cough?
just non-stop.
Got home and sat down. My pains are coming back, but the doctor said this would happen and that my insides are still in shock, so I need to take it easy. It's 9 o'clock. I'm in agony. I can't do the diary for the rest of the day.
Jesus.
So you may as well just tell us then what happened.
Suzanne just
Okay.
got frustrated with me because I was rolling about on the floor and she was trying to watch Arthur. Right? So that was on the other night.
I thought it was when you lodger.
So,
And she said, look, if you're in pain, do something. She said,
you went and got a cold plate.
Yeah. No, use an ashtray.
Ashtray.
Plates are for liver damage.
got in a taxi. He filled up on the way, which was annoying.
He didn't.
Better cut the
That
meter
really-
off.
I mean, he could
On
see
the
I was
way
in
to the
pain.
hospital.
So,
Because he's not an ambulance driver.
so anyway, he gets us there and he doesn't charge us, which is pretty decent.
That's all right, yeah.
So this gay fella came
That's
through.
nice.
How do you know he was gay?
Just the way he was. I'm not having a go. He was a good fella. Do you know what I mean?
A
He-
doctor, you mean?
No, he was he was a nurse.
Right.
And he came through and just sort of went, oh, how are you? And I was like, oh, I've had better days. So he got
As
me
you
on
mentioned in the diary, I remember the first time when I came here, they said the nurse might put a tablet up my arse. I thought the chances of that happening had just increased.
Oh, Karl!
Yeah, but I would have let him do
Wow.
it. Honestly, I was that sort of out of it. That,
Of course you'd let him do it. He's a qualified nurse.
No, but the way I am now, say if it was just a tablet for sorting out my blood pressure, and I walked in there and he went, oh, hello. And he said, yeah, let's pop that. I'd go, hang on a minute.
Why would they?
But what I mean is that night, I would have just let him put 3 up, honestly. It's just weird, isn't it, how your body just goes, let them get on with it, and you trust anyone, don't you? When you're in that much
That's
pain.
called
and you need
pain.
And they're a qualified nurse, yes. Karl, of course, has written a poem about the experience entitled My Ward.
All I've done here, I've been through a,
Oh.
I don't know what the word is.
About the old
Bad
man party.
experience.
Trauma.
A trauma, yeah. I've been through a load of trauma. So I'm just finishing it off with a little sort of picture for people.
Go on then.
Me, a Chinese fella, and an old bloke who looked like Mr. Burns from The Simpsons. Don't know what was wrong with him, but breaking wind was the symptoms. No one visited him or called him. He seemed quite lost to me. As well as wind problems, he had a colostomy.
Back.
When I left, I said, see you to the old man. Turned out the other fella wasn't Chinese. He was from Japan. I never found out what was up with him.
Wow.
You got a little picture there, haven't you, of me sat in my ward. I'm sat there with that fella who I didn't talk to, the old fella who had wind problems. And that's what a poem is, isn't it?
But the detail about you thought he was Chinese and he turned out to be Japanese, how is that evocative? That's just a
It
piece of
rhymed.
misinformation.
It's just
I like it.
I imagine a lot of people make
I
the
like
same
it because
mistake.
you know why? It's like he even makes digressions within his poem.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like he could have gone back and
Yeah.
erased that, but he didn't. He left that digression in, and I think that's great.
It's very honest. Had a late night last night because I stayed up to watch a programme about monkeys.
Monkey
It's
news?
already good.
Of course he did.
It's already good.
Now, before I read on, I mean, is this not some kind of monkey news? Is this not a late
Yeah.
return to monkey news?
Well, it's not that good.
Is it not? Whereas the other monkey news is...
Oh, chimpanzee, that's more shit.
This is what he
Here we
says.
go.
This is what he gleaned from the programme about monkeys. It sat on a bridge and wanted stuff off people to walk over the bridge.
What?
So it was acting as some kind of toll booth,
This
was
is
it?
ridiculous.
No, it was a bridge in like the jungle.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
And it's a monkey that's sat on a bridge, and a lot of tourists go through the area.
No, it's a monkey
to look at them.
who realised that if he sits there, he'll get stuff because it look like it's a cute little chimp begging.
No, but every time.
Yeah, because you give a monkey, I'm as bad as him now.
What is
you give
it?
a chimpanzee a banana, and he starts realising that humans have things to give.
Yeah, but it's all
squirrels
sorts of
learn
stuff.
that. But you don't go, you wouldn't say, went to the park,
Yeah.
the squirrels waiting at the gate. You have to give them a toll to go in. They're only going to give them nuts. They come up to you every time.
Pigeons.
You fucking idiot.
Went to bed after
Squirrels.
watching it and fell asleep thinking about it on the bridge right now. It's a bit bad, really, because the monkey should work harder for its food. It made me remember the slug I saw yesterday that was eating bird poo. Nobody would ever help a slug with food like they do with ducks and monkeys. A slug's life is pretty bad. The only time they come out of their den is when it's raining.
Poor slug.
So even their days out are depressing.
It is. Do you know what I mean?
No.
It is like, it's a horrible thing to be, innit? A slug.
He really does hate slugs.
Talking about what is it like to be a slug?
No, just because like the monkey, even though it's been quite aggressive, everyone was like, "Oh, give it some water," and it was well like kitted out. It had like chocolate bars, bottled water, some like fizzy
Eating
stuff,
good.
and all that.
An iPod, it was listening to Monkey News.
It could have had one if it wanted one. It was getting away with murder on that bridge, and that's just because it was furry. Yeah, if that was like a blob, like a slug, there's no way people would be that friendly towards it. And it just annoys me how you get this pecking order for like no matter what creature you are, favouritism. And that slug was only eating that bird poo because it wasn't being offered stuff.
If it was offered toffees or whatever.
Well, it's just sad, isn't it? It's come to that. That's what its life has come to.
Yeah, but it's not a
was
mollusk
raining, like
that's
I said.
down on its fucking luck.
It didn't live in a big country house,
No,
and his
but
wife
it
left
is.
it. The
I
kids
was
went. It started hitting the
watching
bottle.
it, and I kind of thought, and look, they do only come out in the rain, and it's depressing, and it'll probably get killed in a bit. And that was its last meal. I just
Bird poo.
Last meal!
But it
people
wouldn't
don't care.
prefer steak and chips, Carl. It
No, but
doesn't
a
have.
leaf. It must like a leaf or at the
Why?
end of the day, it's an insect. They love
It's
it.
not an insect.
Well, it's part of that gang. It's part of that. No, it's part of
They
that.
hang out
The
together. They
insect
hang out
gang.
together.
Why do you think it's part of that
Because
gang?
it knocks about in the woods in the same place as a spider does. But what I'm saying is they're eating boring stuff because that is what's
It's
in
not
their
boring
area.
stuff to them. They're not. I have no opinion of it at all. They take in sustenance.
No, but where you are is what you eat. When I'm in London, I'll have beans on
But
toast
you're a
for lunch.
person.
On holiday, what? Tapas? Go on, I'll have a bit. So it's whatever you eat, what's in that area.
Suzanne went off to work and I went to the shop to buy some envelopes. The shop was empty, but the fellow behind the counter was on the phone and just kept talking even though he could see I was waiting. I started to count backwards from 20. When I got to 6, he hung up and served me. I won't use the shop again. Question, why count backwards from 20?
So he's thinking, what's going to happen at 1? If I start counting from 1, he's going, well, let him carry on.
What, out loud?
So, not really loud, but like more of a mouth action, so he could see who was doing it. Do you know? Like
Sorry, you just started miming counting backwards to a
Interesting.
man in a shop.
He's on the phone. The
He
shop
was
is
being
empty.
rude.
I
Yes.
thought he'd like me custom. He could have served me and stay on the phone. Even though I don't like that, at least he's still doing what he needs to do.
I'd have said,
working a
sorry,
shop.
can I just get these, please?
Yeah. Well, I stood there and I thought, it's annoying me now. My kidneys aching and I started to get a bit of a sweat on. So I thought, right, I'm going to give him 20 seconds, and if he hasn't got off the phone, I'm leaving.
You are
Giving
one
yourself,
of the strangest people.
It's just giving yourself a thing. I could have been stood there for
Free.
ages.
He's one of the strangest people who's free to walk
Yeah.
It's
the
about
streets.
no. I set myself a little target, and I thought I don't want to waste another 30 seconds in here. I'll give him 20.
I
It
agree
worked.
with
He
Karl.
served me at 6.
But it didn't work. Yeah, but did he do it because you were doing that, or did he finish his phone call?
I don't know. I was busy counting.
Probably just finished. Well, that was episode 7 from season 2 of the Ricky Gervais Show, Nightclub, that pertained to a story from Stephen, which is always fun, a little different. Most of the stories are from Karl, but this one from Steve, an unfortunate story about him and his friends trying to get into a nightclub on a night out, and Stephen was sort of recognized after the first denial, and then denied again after he was recognized. So I honestly don't know which was worse. And then we got into some more of Karl and slugs. Always interesting. He's got something against animal hierarchy, and of course he humanizes everything. So it always goes awry from there. Another fun episode. Looking forward to more. If you guys out there have any other suggestions for videos, please feel free to put it down in the comments. And like and subscribe if you enjoy this type of content. That helps me out. And once again, until next time, thanks for tuning in.